Barcelona Nights. The warm breeze of a Barcelona evening swept through the cobblestone streets as lights began to flicker on, casting a golden glow over the vibrant city. Carmen, a young woman with a passion for architecture, had arrived that morning, ready to explore the city that had long fascinated her. As she walked down La Rambla, the bustling street filled with performers, artists, and tourists, she felt a sense of excitement bubble up inside her. This was her first time in Spain, and Barcelona had already begun to charm her with its unique blend of history, art, and modern energy. Carmen had always admired Antoni Gaudi's architectural genius. His works, especially the iconic Sagrada Familia, were the main reason she had traveled to the city. She had studied them for years in textbooks, but seeing them in person was an entirely different experience. She couldn't wait to visit the Sagrada Familia the following day, but tonight, she wanted to soak in the city's nighttime magic. As the sun dipped below the horizon, turning the sky a deep orange, Carmen decided to head towards the Gothic quarter. The narrow streets were lined with old buildings, some dating back centuries. The architecture was stunning, with Gothic facades, intricate stone carvings, and hidden courtyards that seemed to transport her to another time. She wandered aimlessly, letting the city guide her, when she heard the distant sound of music. Curious, Carmen followed the melody. It grew louder as she approached a small square surrounded by ancient buildings, the lights twinkling like stars above. In the center of the square, a group of musicians played traditional Spanish guitar, their fingers moving swiftly over the strings. The crowd, a mix of locals and tourists, swayed to the rhythm of the music, mesmerized by the soulful sound. Among the group, a young man caught Carmen's attention. His fingers danced over the strings of his guitar with ease, and his eyes were closed, fully absorbed in the music. His dark, wavy hair and relaxed demeanor contrasted with the intense passion he seemed to pour into every note. Carmen found herself drawn to the music, and soon, she too was captivated by the magic of the moment. After the song ended, the crowd erupted in applause, and the young man opened his eyes, smiling warmly at the audience. Carmen, feeling an unexpected boldness, clapped along with the others and approached him. "That was incredible," she said, her voice filled with admiration. "I've never heard anything like it." The young man smiled, setting his guitar down. "Thank you. I'm Raphael. I play here often with my friends. Music is how I connect with the city." "I can feel it," Carmen replied, returning his smile. "I'm Carmen. I just arrived in Barcelona this morning, and this is the perfect way to start my trip." "Welcome to our beautiful city, Carmen," Raphael said. "Barcelona has a lot to offer, but the real magic happens at night. You're seeing it now: music, art, life. It's all connected." Carmen nodded, glancing around the square. "It's so vibrant. The city feels alive." Raphael chuckled. "Barcelona has a soul of its own. Each night brings something new." "Are you staying long?" "A few days," Carmen answered. "I'm here to see Gaudi's works, especially the Sagrada Familia. I've been obsessed with his architecture for years." Raphael's eyes lit up. "Ah, Gaudi. His work is extraordinary. But Barcelona is more than just architecture. Have you been to the beach at night? It's something special." Carmen shook her head. "Not yet, but I'd love to. I just didn't know where to start exploring. Well, Raphael said, picking up his guitar. How about I show you the best spots? I know this city like the back of my hand. Carmen hesitated for a moment, but there was something genuine about Raphael's offer. He seemed kind, and the idea of seeing the city through a local's eyes was too tempting to pass up. I'd love that, she finally said. And with that, Raphael led her through the labyrinthine streets of the Gothic Quarter, sharing stories about the city's history as they walked. He pointed out hidden alleyways, ancient buildings, and small, tucked-away cafes that only locals knew about. Carmen felt like she was getting an exclusive glimpse of a side of Barcelona most tourists never saw. Eventually, they arrived at the beach. The soft sound of waves crashing against the shore greeted them, and the air smelled of salt and the promise of adventure. The moon hung high in the sky, casting a silvery light over the Mediterranean Sea. The beach was quiet, with only a few people strolling along the shore or sitting on the sand, enjoying the peaceful night. "This is incredible," Carmen said softly, taking in the view. Raphael smiled. "It's my favorite place in the city. The sea always calms me." They found a spot to sit, the sand cool beneath them, and for a while, they simply watched the waves. The city, with all its noise and energy, felt distant here, almost as if they were in a world of their own. Carmen closed her eyes, listening to the sound of the sea and feeling a deep sense of contentment. After a few moments, Raphael began to strum his guitar softly. The melody was different from the upbeat tune he had played earlier. This one was slower, more introspective. Carmen opened her eyes and looked at him, moved by the quiet beauty of the song. "What's that one called?" she asked. Raphael glanced at her, a thoughtful expression on his face. "I haven't named it yet. It's something I play when I need to think, when I want to escape." Carmen smiled. "It's beautiful. It fits the night perfectly." They sat there for hours, talking and laughing as the night wore on. Raphael shared stories of his life in Barcelona, growing up in a city so full of art and culture, learning to play guitar from his grandfather, and his dreams of traveling the world. In return, Carmen told him about her love for architecture, her travels, and the life she was building back home. By the time they realized how late it had gotten, the city was already quieting down. Raphael walked Carmen back to her hotel, and as they stood outside the entrance, she felt a strange sense of sadness that the night was ending. "I had an amazing time," she said, smiling up at him. "Thank you for showing me your Barcelona." "I'm glad you enjoyed it," Raphael replied, his voice warm. "Tomorrow, you'll see Gaudi's masterpieces, but tonight, you saw the heart of the city." Carmen nodded, feeling a connection to both the city and Raphael that she hadn't expected. "I'll never forget this night." "Neither will I," Raphael said, giving her a soft smile. "Maybe I'll see you again before you leave." "Maybe," Carmen replied, though she secretly hoped their paths would cross again. As she walked into her hotel and looked back, Raphael waved one last time before disappearing into the night. Carmen sighed, knowing that Barcelona had given her more than just beautiful architecture. It had given her memories she would cherish forever. That night, as she lay in bed, the sounds of the city still humming in her ears, Carmen smiled. Barcelona had cast its spell on her, and she knew that even after she left, the magic of the city would stay with her for a long time.
Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, and share our channel Magic Mingle with your friends to enjoy more magical stories.